Hi, it's Caleb with Terrytown RV. I'm here at a 2023 Cyclone 4014C, and we're going to do an orientation. We'll start here in the front. You have your battery compartment. You'll see there's a motion light up top. That's why I kicked on. Your inverter is here at the top. You have a battery disconnect right here in the middle. You'll notice that is in the green position right now. I'll see if I can get a little bit more light on that for you. So that's in the green position. That means your batteries are turned on. If you turn that to the left like this, that turns it off. So that will turn all 12-volt power off to the unit. Your battery box is right there, and then you have your hydraulic fluid and hydraulic pump. If this pump were to fail for any reason, you'll see there's a little sticker right on top there. You can use a 1/4-inch hex bit, and you can manually run the pump there with a drill. We'll open up these compartments here. So you have access to your storage, and then your generator is going to be down here. This is a gas generator. You're going to have a fuel fill for that in the rear, which we'll see in just a second. And then one more thing up here is your touch controls for your auto level system. So you'll to turn it on, you're going to hit the up and down arrow here at the same time. That's going to turn that green light on. And then the up and down arrow is going to run your front to landing gear. That's how you're going to hook and unhook from your vehicle. Once you get unhooked from your truck, at your campground, at your house, wherever you're staying, you'll hit auto level. And that is first going to adjust the front. Then it's going to go in sequence and draw up the rear 4 jacks there, and do adjustments and corrections on those until it gets it leveled out as calibrated. When you're ready to leave, ready to hook back up, you'll come back over here. You'll see there's a hitch height button in the top right there. You'll click that. That is going to retract your 4 jacks in the rear, and it will adjust the front to the height you were at before you hit auto level. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the perfect height that you need to back your truck back in, because chances are you're not going to be able to back your truck in exactly at the same angle and everything as you pulled it out, but it's going to get you really close. And then to do any adjustments you need, you'll use the up and down arrow again to adjust the front. Once you get hooked up to your truck, you have your hitch locked and everything, you can hit retract all. That's going to raise your jacks up the rest of the way, and then you'll be good to go. They'll be in travel position for you. One thing you'll notice when you use these jacks with the fronts is that these go in sequence as well. So it's going to go one jack, then the other jack. So it's going to go and run this jack here until it hits the ground. Then it will run that jack until it hits the ground, and then together it'll pick up the unit to raise and lower the front. You have a few stickers on the sidewall here that are going to have some vehicle information. So you have some tire pressures on there, dry weights, cargo capacities, things like that for you to reference. Then we have one of your 2 propane tanks. There's a regulator on the other side for these that you'll use to switch between the 2. And they are both 30-pound tanks as well. Then we have the side access through to your pass-through storage. You'll notice there's a couple motion lights in here as well. There's going to be one here, which we'll turn on. There's one right there. There's also going to be one on the other side, which we'll see once we make our way over there. You have your docking station here. This will be where all your water connections go. So based off of what system you're going to run, you're going to match up the 4 valves here to the diagrams. All your water is going to go through your city water connection right here. So to fill your freshwater tank, we'll start with that. That's going to be power fill. So you turn your valves to match the diagram there, like so. Hook your hose up, turn it on, and that'll fill your freshwater tank. Then after your freshwater tank is filled and you want to use that water, you'll turn your valves to dry camping, like that. Turn your water pump on, which you can do right here, or you can do that inside on your control panel, and then you'll be able to use the water from your freshwater tank. If you're hooked up to water full time, you'll turn your valves to match city water, like so. Hook your hose up here, turn it on, and that will be what creates your water pressure. With city water, with that hookup, your hose is going to be hooked up here full time. I do recommend a 90-degree elbow fitting there, because generally you'll run your hose up through the bottom of the compartment here, and if you run that up and try and hook it there, it tends to kink. So if you have a 90-degree elbow fitting there, that's going to keep your hose from kinking. The last two options on here are for winterization and sanitization. So to winterize the unit, you'll turn your valves like that. You're still gonna go through here, but instead you'll have a hose, and the other end of the hose will go into your antifreeze, and then you'll turn your water pump on, and that will draw the antifreeze up into the unit so that you can winterize all your faucets. Same thing for sanitizing, except this is gonna siphon that sanitizing solution into your water tank. So you'll turn your valves to match that. Hook a hose up to here again. The hose is gonna go into your sanitizing solution, turn your water pump on, and that is gonna draw that into the freshwater tank so that you can sanitize and rinse that and clean that out. Right here is a black tank flush, which we'll cover in just a second when we go through your sewer tank drains. You have an outdoor shower here, hot and cold water with the sprayer nozzle there. Two 110 outlets, a push button light there, and then you do have a crank you'll see on the wall. That will be for your rear patio awning to manually run that in or out. You have exhaust for the generator. You'll notice your spare tires mounted down here as well. You'll have access to that more so from the other side. And you have your water heater. This is a gas and electric water heater. Your switches to turn this on will be on your control panel. Down at the bottom right here is your drain and drain cap. So when you're ready to use this, you'll tighten your drain cap on there with a 1 1/16 inch socket. And then once you have all your water hookups and everything set there, this will start to fill with water. It'll take a second because it's a pretty good sized tank that this has, but before you turn it on, you want to be sure that the tank is full of water. And to do that, you can pull on your pressure relief valve here, and when water comes out, that'll tell you it's full. You can also open up the hot side of one of your sinks inside, generally the one nearest the water heater, so it'll probably be the bathroom or the kitchen. And you open that up, and it's gonna kind of sputter out at first, because there'll be a mixture of air and water. But once a constant steady stream of water flows through the hot side of that faucet, that'll tell you that your tank is full and you're good to turn it on. For gas, obviously you need to have your propane turned on for that, and for electric, you'll need 110 power. And everything on here is electronic ignite, so you don't have to light a pilot light or anything, which is super handy. All you have to do is flip the switch. When you're all done, I recommend you remove the cap here so that the water can drain out. That way you don't have water that just sits in the tank and goes stagnant. And you have latch on either corner for the cover here. Then we have your furnace exhaust. So this is going to blow out hot air when you run your furnace, so you want to be sure you don't block it or touch it. And then down here you'll notice this cover has two labels for two slide valves, which are going to be right at the bottom. Get some light on them so you can see those. So the two slide valves right there, those will drain out right from there. That's going to be a gray and a black slide valve there for your gray and black tanks. For the front half of the unit, you'll have a second door right there and a second drain in the rear for that rear bathroom that you have. So with these, you do want to drain it in kind of a specific order. You'll pull your black tank handle first, let that drain out. That's for your toilet. Then you'll pull your gray tank handle, and that gray dirty sink and shower water will help to rinse the black toilet water out of the end of your hose here, or out of the end of your drain and out of your hose. And then once the gray is empty, you'll close that valve, leave your black tank open. This is when you'll use your black tank flush. So you come over here, hook a hose up to that, turn it on, and that's going to spray directly into your black tank, and it's going to spray around and help to rinse it out and clean off your sensors, so you can get more accurate readings on your holding tank or on your monitor panel inside. And you'll turn your water off there, close your slide valve, and then you'll be all set with that. You'll have a similar setup for the rear, just a separate black tank flush there. You'll also notice there's a label here for a low point drain. You'll see that blue line that hangs down right there. That is a drain for your freshwater tank. So you can just turn that valve to open and close that. It's nice and straightforward. We'll work our way back. I'm gonna see we have that other set of drains right here. Get the light on that. These ones are kind of up at the top. Once again, it's two valves there though. Those will drain out right from there. And then you have your black tank flush for the rear. Then we have your fuel station. So you have 2 separate tanks on here, one for the generator, one for your fuel station, and then the dispenser and your pump there in the middle, so you can turn the pump on and off. And generator tank is the one on the left. Fuel fill is the one on the right here. And you have your 50 amp power hookup, standard 50 amp twist lock cord there as well. I do recommend a 50 amp surge guard in line with that to help protect the electronics on the unit. In the event of a power surge, it's a lot cheaper to replace a surge guard than it is to diagnose and repair electrical. You have a vent here for the garage that you open up from the inside, and then you have your ladder that's mounted to the sidewall here that just pulls out and pulls towards you so you can get up on the roof there. The ladder does have a 250-pound capacity on it, but your roof is fully walkable, so we actually recommend you get up there once a year at least to check your seals and check your rubber roof membrane. For your seals, if you find any cracks, gaps, or holes, anything like that, use a self-leveling lap sealant to touch those up. And for your rubber roof membrane, we recommend you treat that once a year with a rubber roof cleaner and conditioner. Basically, you'll spray that on, scrub it in, and rinse it off, and that is A, going to help keep your roof clean, and B, it's going to condition that roof membrane so that it doesn't dry out, shrink, crack, anything like that. When you're done with this ladder, just kind of push it up back towards the side of the unit there. You'll notice I have the back garage down right now, so you can see that it's in a patio deck position. You'll see the little railings there as well. If you want to put this down into the ramp, just pull this pin on either side, and then you can set that down. You can move your railings off to the side there. These do clip down with that strap there on each one to help secure them in place. There are also some buttons, snaps on either side that you'll have to unhook when you go to set this up. But basically, these are gonna fold out towards you. This side is gonna flip up. You'll fold this out, and this is gonna slide right into the little catch here. It's a little tricky to line it up perfectly, but you'll slide that into place there. And then same thing for this side. You'll pull this out, flip it up, and then swing this door over, and you'll slide that into place. And this does rotate around a little bit there to lock that. So you can lock that, and then you have your gate there in the middle. There's also a set of steps for this. That is going to be stowed away in your little storage locker down here. So it's a set of solid steps for that, like you'll see on your main entry door. You just have standard fold-up steps to get into the garage. You'll notice your main entry door is built into the slide out. So that makes it a little tricky to get to the controls and open everything. So they actually have a slide out switch right up here in the compartment for that slide. That is only going to do your main slide out here just because it has solid steps on it, which solid steps, they look like that. And they're connected to the trailer, and they also will touch the ground. So you want to so you don't want to run this slide out in and out with those down, because you could potentially damage those or bend them. So you'll come over here to your slide out switch. We'll hold down, slide out. That is going to start to extend that out. This is a hydraulic slide, so you'll hear the hydraulic pump up front doing its thing right now. And that's fully extended. You'll hear the pump kind of wind down once it's fully extended. It's going to do the same thing when it's fully retracted. And now you can take your steps out, pull the blue release there, pull pull the steps towards you. It's tricky to do with just one hand. Pull that towards us. Set those down. And this is what those will look like extended. We'll have a few more things out here before we head inside. So we have the outdoor kitchen, or outdoor griddle. See, it's fresh from factory right now. You have your 2 griddle plates right underneath there in the padding. This does tie into your propane system. There's an LP line there that is going to go to a LP quick connect. Right up there, you'll see that yellow sticker label for it as well. So that ties into your propane tanks. You'll also notice there's another label for low point drains, and you'll see that red and blue line hanging down there. Those are the low point drains for the entire water system. That's going to be the, you'll use those for winterization. They're the lowest point of water in the system. You'll open them up, drain them out, and that's going to drain the water out of your lines, and then you can close them and run antifreeze through the system. Then we have the other side of your pass-through storage. You can see the rest of that here a little bit. And then we'll open up this last compartment to your propane tanks. And you'll notice your regulators up there in the corner. So this is going to be where you switch between the 2 tanks. If you point this to the top, there's a little lever at the top. If you have that pointed towards the front, that will be pointed towards this tank. And if you have it pointed to the left, that will point towards the other tank. So you can use that tank. But that'll be everything outside here. We will head inside next. All right, we'll step inside and we'll go straight to your main control panel here. So up at the top, you're gonna see your solar charge controller. This is gonna show battery diagnostics and information for your solar panels on the roof and the charge rates for the battery. It also shows your temperature and the battery voltage. This is preset for your solar panels and the battery that you have so that it charges correctly. So all you have to do is worry about the information it's displaying. You have then your LCI touchscreen. On your homepage here, you're going to have access to some different, let's see if I can get this to focus, some different portions of your different devices on here. So you'll see you have awning, generator, leveling, a couple lighting options on here. And you can also go to your monitor panel. But if we click devices here on the left, that is going to bring us to all of those individually. So the first thing there is going to be awning. And you have awning 1, 2, and then the rear. So there's, if we step outside, you have 1, 2, 3 awnings, and then a 4th awning that'll be right here. That's what that crank was for that we saw in the pass-through storage. So the rear awning on here will be the one over the deck. Then you have 1, 2, and there's actually a switch right here, which is gonna do your awning over top of the door. Sorry, it's dripping a little water there. You do with this awning want to be aware of your main door here. You'll want this to be closed. It's on a strut on the bottom, so it kind of forces it to be open a certain distance. That's as far as that'll go. But just so that your door doesn't hit your awning arm here, you'll want to be sure that your door here is closed. You do want to keep an eye on the awnings though as you run them out, because they don't stop automatically once they're fully extended. So you'll kind of look for the bare awning too once there's no material left around it, and you'll also see a little extra fabric piece that hangs down, and that'll be when it's fully extended. For your rear awning, that's a different style, so that one's going to stop once it's fully extended. Then we have the generator. So if we click over to that, you can turn that on and off. You can also, it's going to show your usage or your hours there. You can set auto start so that it turns on at a certain amount of time, or at a certain time. You just have to set a date and time here as well. You can also set quiet hours for it to be turned off. Then you have leveling. The only time you're really going to use the leveling page on here is if there's a fault on the touchpad outside. So there's going to be a few different light colors and flashing patterns that the touchpad outside will have. So when it's green or blinking green, that means it's on or operating. If it turns red or anything, that means there's an error or a fault with it. And then you'll come in here, you'll acknowledge the fault, it'll tell you what it is, and then you'll reset the jacks by retracting them and then going through your function again. Generally, the main issue is low voltage for your battery or your jacks get out of stroke. So that just means they extend too far. So if they get out of stroke, just put boards or blocks underneath them so they don't have to extend so far. But you'll have all the same options on here on this touchpad as you do on the pad outside. It's just easier to use the one outside because you can see what's happening. Then you have lighting. So there's a few lights paired up to this. Front cap lights and scare lights. So those are both outside exterior lights. Then your monitor panel. So this is where you'll be able to check the levels of your holding tanks. It's going to show all 5 of your tanks. So your 2 black tanks, your 2 gray tanks, and your fresh tank is in the middle. As those fill up, that bar is going to darken with how full it is. Then you have the switch for your water heater on electric, your water heater on gas there, they're separated. And then fuel pump for the rear fuel station, and then your water pump there for once your freshwater tank is filled. And the last page here is going to be slides. So you have bed slide and main slide. So that will be obviously the bedroom slide, and then your main slide is this one. You have another switch right here for slide room. That is going to do your kitchen and theater seating. So we'll hold on out. That is going to extend that. You do have to hold the switch down. And then you'll hear that wind down once it's fully extended. Same thing when it's fully retracted. It's an electric motor on there. Then we'll do the bed slide. You'll kind of see that one through the bathroom there. You'll also notice that the bed is in the up position right now. The bed needs to be in that position in order for this to close. My finger moved off the button there. So there's a switch on the side of the bed right there. That's going to be for your bed lift, so you can control that up or down. You then have a bunch of light switches in here. These two are exterior. You have the control for your inverter to turn that on and off. So power it up, that green light comes on. If there's a fault with it, this light will come on. Your inverter is going to take 12 volt power from your battery and invert it to 110, and it will allow you to run your refrigerator going down the road. With this being a residential refrigerator, it is electric only, so it does not run off of gas. So it needs 110 power in order to operate. So that's what they have the inverter for. They do typically power up roughly 3 outlets with the inverter as well, and those will be labeled as inverter powered. You'll also be able to run your generator to power this up if you don't have shore power hookup, but going down the road, you'll need to use your inverter. You have 2 switches here labeled Yeti Pack. Those are for tank heaters. So that's going to be heating pads on your holding tanks that are tied into the 12 volt system. So to your batteries, you'll flip those on, and that's going to keep them from freezing in the late season. And then at the bottom, you have a little display for your power control system. So it's going to show that we're hooked up to 50 amp service. If I scroll, it will show what is powered. Your 3 ACs are powered, and then it goes back to the main screen there. And there's also a little sticker right here. It's got a QR code on it. You'll scan that. That's going to have information for the screen here so that you can pair your phone up to it. That way, everything that's on the touchpad there is on your phone, and you don't have to come up to that screen every time. Just makes it a little bit more convenient for you to have everything in your hand, and you can be kind of around the unit messing around with it and running stuff in and out. We'll step into your bathroom here. So you have your toilet with the foot pedal flush. Halfway down brings water into the bowl. All the way down will flush that into your holding tanks. You have your shower and tub right here. So there's a little tub space. It's not super deep, but it is usable. And then you have your tri-series door here with the travel lock. You want to hear this click into place like that so that you know these doors are secured. They are glass, so you don't want them sliding around going down the road and potentially getting damaged or shattering. We have your light switch right here, and then a 110 resettable outlet. Up above you have a vent with a fan built into it. Manually crank that up or down. Put the fan on there. Crank that to close it. For both your pocket doors here for the entry to the bedroom and the other main entry here, you have these travel locks on them so that these doors don't slide around going down the road. We'll step into the bedroom here where we have USB and 110 outlets on the side there. The light switch over here, and also that extend and retract for the bed. So you just hold down extend to extend it. That extend is going to be what lays it down flat. Retract is going to be what retracts it into the up position like so. You are prepped for a washer and dryer right here. So that is what the water connections are going to be for. Otherwise, you have a good sized closet here. Clothes hanger there, and it goes all the way through. You are prepped for to have a TV here on the wall. Just use a stud finder to find exactly where the mount location for it is. And then you can screw your TV mount there, and your connections are right up top. You'll notice this one has a green light by it. That is your antenna booster. So if that green light is on, that means your antenna is on. If you turn that off, you'll only have to turn that off if you're hooked up to cable or satellite. Otherwise, with the on, you'll get local channels. You'll also have a little bit of storage here underneath the top of your dresser. This is just on a drawer guide there, and that will click into place and lock into place. And then you have your 4 other drawers there as well. You have a thermostat here on your wall. This is going to be for your front AC, so you can go through your fan speeds. This does show furnace on there. It is not going to actually run your furnace, or it shouldn't run your furnace. It should just be doing the AC, but we'll double check that with your other controls there. They usually only have the furnace powered up through one of the thermostats, so we'll go double check that. But like I said, this is for the front controls there. So you click through your modes on the left there, and you can adjust your temperature there on the right side of it. And then you have your main light switch for the bedroom there. Right up in the hall here, you'll notice it's in the ceiling. You are prepped for a Wi-Fi gateway here. It's got the stickers for it. And on the roof, there's a dome for the WineGuard system for that. With the WineGuard system, you will need to get a SIM card for it. And that's how you'll get Wi-Fi. It's more like having 4G or 5G at your camper here, but that'll be what you'll do for that. You can get a SIM card through WineGuard, or you can go through most of the major cell providers like Verizon or AT&T. With WineGuard, the nice thing is that you can pay for monthly plans. So you pay for it month to month. If you're not going to use this thing for the full year, that monthly plan is nice so that you don't have to pay for that internet when you're not using it. Generally with the phone providers, if you go through Verizon or AT&T or those companies, you have to pay for like the full year, even when you're not using it. We have another thermostat here for the main area. So we'll click through this. You have your fan speeds. This one also shows furnace. This is going to be your one that runs the furnace here for the main area. Your furnace is going to be ducted through the floor there. All your ACs will go through the ceiling vents. And you'll notice your ACs do have their own little dump vents in the middle there as well. You'll just take your lever there and slide that to open or close that. If you don't want to run your furnace, but you want to heat the fifth wheel here, you'll come down. You can use your fireplace, and this has built-in heat to it. So if we turn that on, can set a timer for how long it runs, change your flame colors, and then you'll set your heat here on the left. So you can have no heat where it's just ambient lighting, or you can do low heat or high heat, and that heat is going to come through the vent here at the top. The glass itself does not heat up, and this is electric only. You do need 110 power for it, but that'll heat up the main area here pretty nicely if you don't want to use your propane. Then you have your theater seating here. There are USB chargers built into the cup holders. You also see the light that's built into that. Then you have a pull handle for the feet there. The same thing on this side. Pull handle to kick that out and allow you to use the recliner. You have your 2 light switches. So this one here does that LED accents. That top one does your ceiling. Then we have your main entertainment. So big TV here. All your connections are on the left. You kind of see those. And then your radio. So we'll turn that on. This is JBL radio, which is super nice, super high quality. And then you have 3 speaker zones. So zone A, B, and C. Push them to turn them on and off. Zone B and C are going to be your ceiling speakers in here. And then zone A will be outside. So just click them to turn them on and off. It'll display which ones are on the screen there. This is also Bluetooth compatible, so you can pair your phone up to it and play your own music. You do also have some inputs here for HDMI, USB, and aux cord there. You have more theater seating on this side. These are going to work the exact same as the other opposite side. So just the pull handles there. Keep it super straightforward for you. In the kitchen here, we have your residential style stove and oven. So really good size there. You have your controls for your burners on the outside, control for the oven in the middle there, and full size microwave, residential fridge like I mentioned before. This has travel lock on it here so that those doors don't open. You can see inside of it. Your keys are over here. You have purple keys for your entry doors. You have gray keys for your compartments. And then these silver keys will go to a couple other smaller compartments, like the one where your steps are stored outside. Then you have a black key here as well, which will lock the rear gate. You have your table and chairs here. These chairs are all freestanding. That's why you see the clips underneath there, so that you can strap them down. There's also a little bit of storage in the table. There is a leaf extension underneath. You'll see it's not going to pull out right now. There is a travel lock on the side of it. Just a little button to snap right there. So you'll undo that, pull out towards you, pick up, and that will snap that into place. To put it back and stow it, pull out. You'll have to slide this back in. It's a little finicky to line it up just perfectly, and then you'll snap that back down. You have access up to your little nook up here. Lots of storage space there. You could probably throw a mattress in there as well. And then the ladder just stows up against the wall. Just be sure that that is stowed away when you close your slide out. That way it doesn't crush the ladder and damage it. Same thing over here. If any of these cabinets are open, either up top or below, they're gonna get in the way of your slide out rooms from either side. So just be hyper aware of where those are located so that those don't damage your slide out, or so that your slide out doesn't damage them. Last thing here, we'll step into the garage. So you have your bed lift there in the back. Right now it's in the down position. Underneath your mattress here, you have your freestanding table for underneath when these are set up as couches. Otherwise, you can see they also lay flat. They're just kind of a jackknife style a little bit. They just flip over and they'll lay down. And then you just gotta line up the cushions there so that that folds flat. And then you have an extra bed. A lot of people will put a mattress over top of that since it's not always the most comfortable to have a little bit of different levels there with the folding cushions and everything. And you do also have pins here for the top bunk. So there's 4 pins, 1 for each corner of the bed, so that you can pin this in the up position all the way up against the ceiling. And that will go through this hole right there so that you can pin that up. Your bed lift controls are right up above on the ceiling here. So if you hold on up, that will start to bring that back up. You'll notice that just the bottom is moving right now. That top just sits on a little stopper that's built into the rail. Kind of see it there, it's a little brass piece. So that just rests on that. And then once the bottom couches get up high enough, they're just gonna pick up the top bed with it, and that just rides on top of them. And we'll retract this all the way up. For travel, I do recommend you have these in the up position. That's just gonna allow it to be the most secure so that your bed doesn't like bounce up and down or anything on the track when you're going down the road. And like I said, just secures it the most. And you can also pin that bed up to secure it extra. All right, so that is fully retracted there. You'll notice there are a couple legs that hang down from the bottom of the couches here. Those are gonna be supports that you'll use for when that is in the bed position. That way it doesn't sag in the middle or risk damaging any of the hardware on it. You have a couple more light switches here as well. So you're gonna be some ceiling and awning lights outside. You have your thermostat for the rear AC here. So power, AC, once again it shows furnace. There's not, but that does not pair to the furnace. It does have a heat pump on it though. So built into this AC is a heat pump, which basically when you use that, it's an electric heater that's gonna put heat out through the AC vents so that you can heat the garage here off of 110 power. You'll notice we have those vents that I mentioned earlier too. So you can pop these open and they open either way. There's a little piece behind here that you kind of pinch or squeeze as you go, and then you can adjust that. There's that other one right down there. Your doors here in the back that slide have another travel lock on them, just for security, so that they don't move around. So you'll lock that down in place. You can also pull on this strap here, and this will be how you release the doors. Undo that lock. You release the doors to open those up, so you can have access for any toys that you have back here to get inside. So those just swing open. Same thing for this side here. Pull strap. That undoes the little lock up there, and that will swing that door open. You'll notice on your gates here too that you have this extra piece of screen that is going to swing around, and it actually will loop onto this metal bracket here. So you see, got a track there that will slide onto there, and that's just going to seal that off. So if you have any pets or anything, they don't sneak through there. So it just gives you a little bit more security up here. We'll step into the half bath here. Last, you have the sink outside. This is actually another full bath. You have toilet with the foot pedal flush again, and then your corner shower. Shower only, no tub with this one. And then your push button light switch there. But that'll be everything for this unit. Hopefully this video is helpful to you. I know it's long, but there's a lot of stuff on here. So we want to make sure you're as comfortable with it as possible. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to get them answered for you. And thank you for choosing Terrytown RV.